Nice that you are looking at Public Image of Taylor Swift Part 4. Her music, visuals, general attire, and concerts have influenced fashion trends and led to sales surges. She boosted the popularity of red lipsticks, considered one of her signature fashion motifs, especially since Red, which prominently featured red lips in its cover. Swift helped popularize women's sleeveless formal wear, waistcoats, and thigh jewelry. Hairdresser Shave credited Swift with popularizing low-maintenance and natural-looking hair in women's hairstyles. The scarf, mentioned in autobiographical lyrics of All Too Well, has become a signature object associated with Swift. Cottagecore experienced a resurgence on the internet after Swift adopted the aesthetic, increasing sales of hand-knitted Aran jumpers in Ireland and the US. RTA thanked Swift for putting cardigans back on the map with folklore. Upon Evermore's release, replicas of the flannel coat Swift wore on the cover artwork sold out on Farfetch instantaneously. The Eras Tour increased demand for metallic boots, cowboy hats, and sequin dresses. CNN reported that fashion retailers marketed their products to target attendees of the tour, with various clothing brands creating a range of items inspired by Swift and her eras, and scoring their biggest sales year yet. Some scholars felt Swift mainstreamed Gothic aesthetics with Reputation and the Tortured Poets department. The former characterized by its snake-inspired cyber-Gothic motifs and the later mainly dark academia. When Swift began dating American football player Travis Kelce and attended several of his games wearing Kansas City Chiefs merchandise in 2023. Both the team and the National Football League were met with unprecedented increase in merchandise sales. The non-merchandise pieces that she wore to the games, belonging to female-owned small businesses, were also met with record sales. In 2014, People named Swift the best-dressed woman of the year, calling her a street-style queen. American fashion designer Tommy Hilfiger referred to Swift as a new icon of the American style, owing to her charismatic summer outfits. In 2015, Swift won the Elle Woman of the Year award for cementing herself as a style icon capable of seamlessly switching between chic street style and glamorous couture gowns on the red carpet, and topped the 2015 Maxim Hot 100 list. Critic Francesca Wallace wrote in 2018 that Swift's authentic look is her easygoing, feminine, and dainty take on fashion, incorporating bows, prints and carry-all bags, creating a street style worth copying. Sarah Midkiff of Refinery29 compared Swift's simplistic looks to that of a classic English rose. A 2024 Boohoo.com survey stated that Swift has been the most sought-out style icon of the 2020s decade, with an estimated 78,725 average monthly searches relating to her fashion. The Wall Street Journal dubbed Swift as a fashion-selling machine. Prominent luxury brands like Versace and Schiaparelli experience brand value boosts from Swift. Versace garnered nearly $3.1 million United States dollars in media impact value across the 35 days that the Eras Tour had been in Europe. Fashion dubbed it the Taylor Swift effect, and compared it the impact of Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle on fashion. Sandra Choi, creative director of the British luxury fashion house Jimmy Choo, claimed that Swift has reinforced their design expertise and provided them with global visibility. Mansour Gavriel and AREA are amongst the other high fashion houses that have had their items sell out because of Swift. Retail companies like Free People and Hill House have also largely benefited from her. Jen Nurick of Vogue Australia regards Swift as an influential figure in sustainable fashion. A number of small business boutiques and brands have reported overnight success after Swift wore one of their clothes or fashion accessories. On October 8, 2024, Swift wore glitter freckles from Facet Makeup Patches, a previously unknown small business beauty brand, to a Kansas City Chiefs New Orleans Saints game. In the first 2 days, the brand experienced a 2,500% sales spike, selling out on Urban Outfitters and Amazon. Swift has frequently received body-shaming comments from media outlets and on social media, criticizing or scrutinizing her physical appearance, especially when she was considered skinny in 2014 and when she gained weight between 2017 and 2019. She has been vocal about the impact of such press coverage on personal health, discussing issues such as eating disorders, body dysmorphic disorder, anorexia athletica, self-esteem, and cyberbullying. Swift stated in Miss Americana that she used to starve herself while working out excessively after reading articles describing her as pregnant based on photographs in which her stomach looked big. A confession that precipitated responses from and discussions on mental health amongst the public. There's always some standard of beauty that you're not meeting. Because if you're thin enough, then you don't have that ass that everybody wants. But if you have enough weight on you to have an ass, then your stomach isn't flat enough. It's all just fucking impossible. Swift in Miss Americana. Taylor Swift discloses fight with eating disorder in new documentary. The Guardian. The Daily Targum noted that despite being an expert in handling negative criticism, even Swift succumbed to insecurities that blossomed into eating problems. Which shows how even the strongest among us are susceptible to potential eating disorders due to the toxic environment of social media. Jessica Gold, professor of psychiatry at Washington University in St. Louis, commented, "When our political leaders are struggling to build consensus on and convey the gravity of issues, like mental health, Swift is sending a powerful message by opening up about her issues, one that is likely to save lives in myriad ways." Ellen Ricks of Hello Giggles called Swift's reveal of her disorder inspirational, noting how it can potentially impact so many people still fighting, as there is still so much stigma and misinformation surrounding it. Discussing Miss Americana, writer Ilana Fishman confessed, "Every so often, I'll still catch myself criticizing the way my tummy or legs look in a photo, or how a certain pair of pants fits me. From now on, whenever that happens, I'll be repeating a line Swift says in the film. We do not do that anymore, because it's better to think you look fat than to look sick." Miss Americana also prompted critics of Swift to respond, such as comedian Nikki Glaser, who said her comments about being skinny came from a place of insecurity. Journalist Richard S. Hay stated the intention of their 2016 Vice article, "Taylor Swift isn't like other celebrities. She's worse," was to deconstruct the pettiness of the celebrity industrial complex, but regretted it could have been unduly critical of Swift. A scene in the music video for Swift's 2022 single, Anti-Hero, which depicts alter egos of Swift interacting with each other, a depressed and homely Swift stepping on a bathroom scale that reads, "fat," making the glamorous pop star Swift shake her head in disapproval, invoked a mixed response on social media, where some accused Swift of fat phobia. An opinion on the cut said the scene reinforces the idea of being fat as bad. Several others defended Swift, journalists in The Guardian, The Independent and The Daily Telegraph. And television shows like The View sided with Swift, arguing that, given her history with an eating disorder, she should not have to sanitize her psychological trauma to make her art digestible for audiences. They claimed that video illustrates the warped workings of her brain back when she was in the throes of an eating disorder. The video was, however, edited to remove the controversial word, fat, which also sparked criticism. Maya Georgi of NBC News questioned why Swift has, once again, let criticism control her actions. Feeling the scene demonstrated the damage the rhetoric of valuing thinness and demonizing larger bodies has done to Swift and other women. Thomas Meir of Rolling Stone wrote Swift had to water down her artistic expression and how she chose to portray her lived experience. Swift's political views have a significant influence on her public image. Political journalists and authors note Swift as a powerful personality, particularly in American politics. Often described as the most influential musician politically, she has used her fame to incite political action. Governmental figures outside the US have also shown admiration for Swift, such as Gabriel Boric, President of Chile, Peter Lim Jaroenrat, member of the House of Representatives of Thailand, Leni Robredo, former Vice President of the Philippines, Liz Truss, former Prime Minister of the UK, William, Prince of Wales, and Mexican Supreme Court Justice Arturo Zaldivar. Organizations such as the European Union have acknowledged her political influence. Around August 2023, Swift began dating American football player Travis Kelce. The romantic relationship has had a cultural impact, about which Billboard opined that the two are arguably the world's most high-profile couple right now, consistently making headlines on the daily for simply holding hands or enjoying dinner together. Kelce's relationship with Swift has significantly increased his popularity amongst casual and non-NFL fans. For example, he tallied the most fan votes of any other NFL players for the 2025 Pro Bowl games, the NFL's All-Star event. The NFL games Swift attended of Kelce's team, the Kansas City Chiefs, broke numerous viewership records, including record-high female viewership. The NFL and NBC Sports used the relationship for social media content and to promote subsequent games. Skincare brand Cetaphil aired a Super Bowl commercial referencing Swift's role in widening the league's appeal to female audiences. Pop culture commentators and journalists began describing Swift and Kelce as a super couple, often as America's very own royal couple. Emily Yar opined in the New York Times that the U.S. giddily contemplates the pairing of Swift and Kelce that, for many observers, checks all the right boxes. Whereas Andrew Unterberger opined that the pair resulted in a near 100% public approval, because it just felt right, the All-American athlete dating the All-American pop star. Robert Armstrong of Financial Times described Kelce as a royal consort and the most important boyfriend in the world. Perhaps the most important boyfriend in all of human history. A television special by Nightline about the relationship and its impact, titled Taylor plus Travis, was released on Hulu in November 2023. Dressing up as Swift and Kelce was a trend during Halloween 2023. Kyle Chayaka of The New Yorker wrote, "The narrative, admittedly, was almost too neat. America's sweetheart dating the national equivalent of a homecoming king." Critical commentary has analyzed Swift's pan-generational appeal. Journalists have used Swift's career to mark a paradigm shift in popular culture, regarding her as a millennial cultural figure. According to Rosen, Swift is a generational bard, merging the pleasures of old-fashioned songcraft with millennial social media oversharing. Psychiatrist Suzanne Garfinkel-Crowell opined that Swift is the generational poet laureate who has a song for every precise emotion of a listener. Bach described Swift as a philosopher. A 2023 Pollstar survey reported Swift had the most positive impact on the youth's mental health amongst all the music acts. A 2024 survey undertaken by The Washington Post stated that Swift is a source of fascination for fans and non-fans of all age groups. American author Neil Howe, who coined the term millennial, named Swift as the classic example of millennial spirit. In 2010, the Christian Science Monitor commentators Morley Winograd and Michael D. Heiss opined that Swift's rise to fame signals the musical coming of age of the millennial generation, and that it's only a matter of time before Swift and her generation make over America's music as triumphantly as they did its politics with the election of President Obama, awarding Swift for her humanitarian endeavors in 2012. Former First Lady of the U.S., Michelle Obama, described Swift as an artist who has rocketed to the top of the music industry but still keeps her feet on the ground. Someone who has shattered every expectation of what a 22-year-old can accomplish. In 2014, Quartz's John McDouling said Swift was quickly becoming the most influential artist of her generation, and pondered if she is the millennial equivalent to Dylan, Springsteen, or Kurt Cobain. National Post opined that 1989, an album created by a millennial for millennials, lays claim to an entire generation, as average millennials are constantly exposed to criticism and heavy dialogue, like Swift, all of which is embodied by Swift's music. The newspaper considered New Romantics, 2016, as a millennial ode. According to a 2019 Y-Pulse survey, Swift is the musician who best represents millennials, ages 19 to 37. She represents millennial anxiety, according to the Walrus's Joel Kidd, who wrote that millennials have a tendency of obsessive self-analysis that Swift has grown to embody, sharing her anxieties with the generation. Some journalists have described the Tortured Poets Department as a study of millennial misery and despair. Today, senior editor Elena Nicolaou noted how Swift culturally transformed millennial weddings as well. Many critics discuss the millennial cringe as a part of Swift's appeal. Journalist Brittany Spano stated that despite Generation Z forming a significant portion of Swift's newer fans, they do not really understand the cultural history, the socio-political and cultural elements that have molded Taylor as a millennial woman because they grew up after that. As a result, some of Generation Z may view some older Swift songs and lyrics as cringe. Helen Lewis of The Atlantic dubbed Swift the Queen of Cringe. Kayla Kibb of Cosmopolitan applied a feminist perspective, associating Swift's exploration of cringe in her artistry as a response to the trivialization of women's emotions, especially heartbreak and anger. Swift's commencement speech at the 2022 New York University graduation ceremony about cringe was positively received by journalists. Vox and The New Yorker called Swift the millennial Bruce Springsteen, drawing numerous artistic and socio-political parallels between Swift and Springsteen's careers. McCormick wrote in The Telegraph, in the same way that became the poet of the working man. Swift's secret is her ability to read the mind of the modern woman. The Times named Swift the Bob Dylan of our age in 2022 and the confessional queen of noughties pop. Journalists have also noted Swift's rising success within baby boomers and Generation X, known as senior Swifties. Alexandra Spring of ABC News opined that Swift's lovelorn ballads, kitchen bops and revenge anthems appeal intensely to the middle-aged Gen X generation, who also relate to Swift in terms of navigating the world professionally and culturally. As per Morning Consult, 45% of Swift's US fans are millennials, 23% are baby boomers, 21% are Generation X, and 11% are Generation Z. This is the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.